All right, let's talk about the ups and downs of Ender Lilies, Quietus of the Knights. Let me just start by saying that I absolutely adore this game. So I have almost nothing negative to say. I'm going to have to think really hard to come up with some. So I've played a lot of Metroidvanias. Among my favorites are games like Hollow Knight, Ori and the Will-O-the-Wisps. There's some others. But, I mean, when I think about my very favorite... Axiom Verge is another good one. When I think of my very favorite Metroidvanias, this is going to be in that conversation now. And I'll tell you why. The combat is awesome. There are certain games that just nail... It's very difficult to have a lot of variety in combat and still nail the basics. A lot of games keep things very simple so that there aren't too many variables and they don't mess anything up. Actually, Hollow Knight's a good example of that. The combat's pretty straightforward. But it's very, very good. It's very tight, it's very clean. And then there are some games that they overextend and they want to put all this different weapon variety in their game, but then it's kind of all over the place and it's muddy and it's not balanced very well. So some of the weapons might be crappy and some others might be really OP, and so people just gravitate toward 2 or 3 different weapon varieties, things like that. There's a lot of games like that. But sometimes a game can come up with a ton of weapon variety and still keep it all very, very precise and very satisfying. And this is an excellent example of a game that does that. Asterigos Curse of the Stars is a really good example of how to do that. There's some others that are out there. There's a Neo. The Neo series is a really good example of a ton of weapon variety, but it's all still really good. There is so much weapon variety that I didn't probably even touch 15% of it. And I was able to find a style that felt uniquely mine and worked for my play style and worked brilliantly when I wasn't making too many mistakes. And it was extremely satisfying to go through that process, level up those abilities, put my currency into those skills, and experiment with different builds. I don't usually do that crap. I don't usually do a lot of I stick with one thing, and I'm like a great sword guy in Souls-like. So I pick up the biggest sword I can find, and I'm like, that's what I'm gonna charge attack everything. And in this game, it really incentivizes you to play with the weapon variety, and I loved that. It was so much fun. So that made the combat a lot of fun, and the height of the combat was the boss fights. The boss fights in this game are freaking awesome. Now, I did not do a completionist run. In fact, I think I was quite under-leveled at the end, but I actually think that may have added to it, because a lot of these games, like if you do every side quest and you do every little collectible and everything, you end up being a little overpowered and then you just blow through the end of a game. I did that recently with Bloodborne, and it made and Demon Souls, and it actually made it less fun because I just blew through some of the best bosses in the game. I didn't do that with this, and so I really struggled with some of the bosses in the game in the second half. I mean, every boss in this game is incrementally harder than the last for the first 66% of the game. And then after that, it kind of varies, but they're all difficult. Loved the boss fights in this game, maybe more than Hollow Knight. There's probably people that would consider that blasphemy, but I think the boss fights in this game might be better than Hollow Knight. There aren't nearly as many. That's one thing about Hollow Knight that's really... I can't help but compare this to Hollow Knight, so I'm gonna bring that up a couple more times probably, but because it draws some inspiration from that for sure. But it's only got a handful of bosses, but every single one of the boss fights is excellent. Every single one, even the first couple that are really easy, they were still a lot of fun. So I love the boss fights. I can already tell this is going to be some of my favorite boss fights of all of 2025 right here at the beginning of the year. I loved some of the boss fights. If it happened in 2024, they'd make my top 5 boss fights probably. at least top 10. I mean, they were great boss fights. The art style, from a technical standpoint, the art style in this game is freaking magnificent. It is just gorgeous. The monochrome anime style look to it is awesome. The sound design in this game is incredible. The music is awesome. It sounds like everything comes out of like an old style music box, and it has like this weird, like, some of it can get really creepy, but there's like this like ambient humming in it sometimes. And sometimes there's no music at all, and all you hear is just some soft rain. And of course rain is a big part of the story, but you just hear just the soft patter of rain, and it sounds freaking gorgeous. So all that stuff was really, all the technical stuff was on point. Not a bug one, never ran into a bug or a glitch at all. The game is technically pristine. The story I thought was cool. I think I probably would have got more out of the story if I did more of the off the beaten path stuff, because there was a lot of lore that you pick up that I didn't understand because I missed some. So I think I missed out a little bit on the story, but I don't care as much about story usually. So the story was kind of there for me, and I could tell that it was probably good, but I kind of missed out on some of it. So that's on me. But I thought, I did think it, when I got the broad strokes of it, and I thought it was good. It was definitely serviceable. As far as critiques, there was something I was thinking about earlier. The traversal mechanics that you upgrade as you go, that you unlock, is pretty standard for a Metroidvania. There wasn't a lot of crazy outside of the box stuff. I mean, at some point you get a double jump, at some point you get a grappling hook, at some point you get a dash. It was a lot of that stuff. Nothing really crazy, nothing really innovative on that front, but it was fine. Again, it was serviceable. I'm trying to think of something negative to say, and I cannot think of anything. I can't think of anything, and I'm not going to try any harder, because this game is absolutely immaculate. The reason that I'm playing is because there's a sequel that comes out tomorrow. I'm not going to play it at launch because I never play two games in the same franchise in a single calendar month, but I will play it in early February, and I cannot wait after playing this game. This game was incredible. I really don't have anything negative to say. The only question remaining is this my favorite Metroidvania ever? And I don't know that it is. I haven't really taken a look at my list to see like what's ranked at the very top. There's probably something really high up there. It might be Hollow Knight. But there's something probably up there that would give it a run for its money. I don't know that I like it more than Hollow Knight, because Hollow Knight is a bit more robust than this game. A lot more combat, a lot more areas. Well, not a lot more areas, but some more areas, a lot more boss fights, stuff like that. Hollow Knight is 56, so that is my number one ranked Metroidvania. This isn't my favorite genre, but I do enjoy it when it's really good. I don't know, man. I liked the boss fights better, and the boss fights are some of the most important things to me. So the fact that I'm even having that conversation, though, is enough to say, like, yeah, if you go anywhere near Metroidvanias, you should absolutely play this game. It is an absolutely incredible game. I loved it. And I cannot wait for the sequel. So, all right, that's it. We did it. Last order of business, Ender Lilies, Quietus of the Knights. What an experience. I absolutely adored this game, but we are now going to delete you from our console and never play you again. Bye. Thank you so much.